Section 3, Day 2 is more on linear functions in slope-intercept form. Today we're going to talk about how you can rearrange an equation to get it into slope-intercept form and then be able to go from equation to graph and vice versa. So taking a look at example 1, they want the equation of each line. The first thing you should get is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the value at which the line crosses the y-axis. This one happens to be a positive 1. From there, count your slope. So from that positive 1, you're going to go up 1, 2, 3, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes the slope 3/4. Typically, I ignore the signs until I'm done. From left to right, if you trace this line from left to right, you're going downhill, which makes that slope a negative. If you plug all of that information into y equals mx plus b, which is what we use, we end up with y equals negative 3/4, that's your m, x plus 1. Same situation for the next one. Do your b value first. The b here happens to be at negative 2. It crosses the y-axis at negative 2. From there, you're going to count off the slope. You go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1, which makes your slope a 5/1 or 5. Just double check the sign on that. From left to right, if you trace this line from left to right, you're going up, which does make it positive. If you substitute both of those pieces of information in the y equals mx plus b, you get y equals 5x plus a negative 2, which is prettier by writing just a minus 2. Number 2, write the equation in slope-intercept form. What are the slope and y-intercept? So the big idea here is they want y equals mx plus b, which really means you want to solve the equation for y. So if you take a look at letter A, if I want y by itself, the first step in doing so is to subtract 3x from both sides. Subtracting 3x gives me 2y equals negative 3x plus 18. Divide everything by 2. I get y equals negative 3/2 x plus 9. That's slope-intercept form. From there, we can pull off our slope, which is negative 3/2, and our y-intercept, which is 9. So be careful, they also want that information. It says, what are the slope and y-intercept? Letter B, if I want to solve that for y, I'm going to get rid of the 2x first by subtracting. Gives me 3y minus 15 equals negative 2x. I'm going to get rid of the minus 15 by adding. So now I've got 3y equals negative 2x plus 15. And then get rid of the 3 by dividing. Everything by 3. So I end up with y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5. In this equation, my slope is negative 2/3, and my y-intercept is 5. Example 3, what is the graph of each equation? So if you take a look at letter A, it's already in y equals mx plus b. So the first thing we need to do is graph the b value. That's the y-intercept. This one occurs at negative 1. And from there, count off the slope. The slope is listed in the equation as a 2, which you're going to want as a fraction. As a fraction, it's 2/1. So from your y-intercept, rise 2, run 1, and put a dot. Rise 2 and run 1 and put a dot. Until you've got at least 3 points on your graph, and then connect them with a straight line. Just a quick reminder, positive slopes go up and to the right. Negative slopes go up and to the left. Pure and null. Positives go up and right, negatives go up and left. Taking a look at letter B. Letter B is a little different. It is not solved for you yet, so we have to get y by itself. I'm going to do so by adding 4 to both sides. Adding 4 gives me y equals negative 3x plus 4. So the first place you start is the y-intercept. That's positive 4. So on the y-axis, go up 4 and put your y-intercept. From there, we're going to count off the slope. Now, the slope of this one is negative 3, which is the same as negative 3 over 1. So instead of going up and to the right, I'm going to go up 3 and to the left 1 a couple of times. If you go up and to the left, then that allows you to get the negative slope that you're looking for. Letter C is all sorts of backwards, but before I start doing much of anything else, I'm actually going to flip the sides. I like the y term to be on the left, and remember that equations are symmetrical, which means you can switch the left and right side however you'd like. So I just switched sides of the equation. I'm going to start by subtracting 4x from both sides. That leaves me with a negative 3y, watch your negative there. Negative 3y equals negative 4x plus 24. Then divide everything by a negative 3. When I simplify the negative 4 over negative 3, I get a positive 4/3 x, and then minus 8. Always start your graphing at your y-intercept. My y-intercept here is a negative 8. The slope means I should go up 4 and over 3. At least twice, so you can comfortably get a line. And draw it in. Letter D, I'm starting with 4x minus 7y equals 0. So the first step here is to subtract 4x from both sides. Subtracting 4x leaves me with a negative 7y equals negative 4x. And then to get rid of the negative 7, divide both sides by negative 7. I get y equals a positive 4/7 x. And it's positive because I divided a negative and a negative. Y equals positive 4/7 x really has a plus 0 tacked in the end. In the beginning of chapter 2, we did direct variation. This is a direct variation because it has no plus or minus. It goes through the origin. And from there, you can count off your slope of 4/7. So from the origin, go up 4 over 7. If I go up 4 and over 7 again, I'm technically off the graph. So instead, I'm going to go back to the origin and then go down 4 and over 7, just so that I can get enough points to comfortably draw on a line.